talk about a missed opportunity. Talk about a missed opportunity. And what's incredibly frustrating is every single day we see the outcomes of what happens when we miss key opportunities like this. Right now in Pleasantville, Pennsylvania, you have drastic flooding along the roadways where we have known for a long time that we need to harden our infrastructure against these extreme weather events that we're seeing. We've been seeing flooding, like not the first time we've seen flooding. But yet, this is the first time we've had $10 billion in terms of surplus revenue. I mean, and Jeff is the numbers guy, but think about this, $10 billion. And yet you had my Republican colleagues saying, oh no, we shouldn't do anything with this money. We should use it to make it easier for-profit charter school, private school operators to get state funds. We should use it to try to sneak into the budget a new bureau of election. I don't forget what the hell they call it. We're called election audits, whatever. I call it a new bureau of bullshit and lies. They have spent this time trying to do everything they can to maintain the status quo in a moment where we have seen that the status quo has failed so many Pennsylvania families. I mean, the holes that exist, they're so big in our safety net that people fell right through. You think about our unemployment system, which was in need of drastic resources being rushed to it to deal with the back-end technological infrastructure, but also to deal with ramping up the amount of people who work in that department to deal with the onslaught of cases. Right now, I'm in my district office every single day. We get people who come through this door who said, you know what, Rep, I haven't gotten unemployment from the beginning of the pandemic, from the very beginning. But yet we know, and we've known for a while, that the technology that folks in labor and industry are dealing with is technology that is, I mean, in some cases, we're talking about Windows 97, 98. I mean, come on. And we could have used some of that money to put us in a space where we have the technological capabilities to respond and then have the staff capabilities to respond. We had the money to put us in a place where we actually fully fund education. I don't understand how anybody in good conscience can be okay with Pennsylvania being 45th in terms of educational equity, 45th. And listen, I'm, with all due respect to some of the things that were in the budget that were a little bit better, I don't think a Band-Aid is good enough when you have a gushing wound, right? Maybe a little less blood, but you still have people who are bleeding out in our communities because we haven't done what's necessary to repair the systemic harm. I say all the time that we need folks whose feet are bloody from walking over the glass of government's inaction. And you have a lot of people whose feet are bloody. And we had a moment right now to not just put a Band-Aid, to not just put a little cup in the place of actually fixing the damn roof, but instead we've put cups and buckets and everywhere else, and we have the money to fix it, to actually fix the roof so it stops leaking in people's homes. But yet we stashed all this money away in the rainy day fund when people are drenched. And we've said, let's focus on everything but the issue that is in front of our face. Almost the only thing that these folks have been focused on is how to make it more difficult for you to vote. That is like the only thing they've been focused on. They have spent so much time, so many resources, so much energy trying to make it more difficult for people to vote. And even after the governor vetoed their proposal yesterday, they said, well, now what we're going to do is we're going to take those crap, garbage proposals, and we're going to try to put them in the Constitution. And so then they're going to have their millionaire pals, the Commonwealth Foundation, all these dark money groups now trying to trick people into giving away their voting rights. And I'm sure at some point the damn My Pillow guy will be here in Pennsylvania talking about how we need to do this. So we are in a tough situation that we did not have to be in. And I will end with this note because I think it is one of the examples that is most glaring for me. We know right now, and we knew this prior to COVID shutting down school buildings, that there are buildings in rural communities, in exurban communities, in urban communities, where there is asbestos fallen from the ceiling like rain, where there are lead pipes that the kids can't drink the dang water in the school, where there are exposed heated pipes that are dealing with the heating that are exposed, where little babies could burn their arms. We know this. We've had all this time when the buildings have been physically closed, where we could have been going into these schools and actually remediating the asbestos and mold in these buildings. Now we have billions of dollars to actually fix this problem. We've done nothing. And so what we're going to do in a couple of months here is send our kids, our babies, back into buildings that we know are unsafe. And of all the missed opportunities, that one is actually the most disgusting, because we have seen the pictures, we know it, and we have kids who have now, because of inaccessibility to high-speed internet, of the affordability of broadband and Wi-Fi, we know that there are going to be a lot of learning loss for our young people. We know that. And so we're going to send them into buildings that aren't safe, and with teachers that aren't compensated in the way they need to, and without the resources that they need to prepare our kids for the future. And so of everything that we didn't do, from hardening our infrastructure, investing in green jobs, I think this one issue is probably one of the most disgraceful missed opportunities that I saw in this budget. And so, as you might suspect, I voted against the budget, and I'm not a big fan of it.